So Viv, we're going to be talking about biblical leadership versus business leadership. What do you think is the difference?
The difference is that...
Wait, stay tuned.
You used that already.
I know, it's different. My name is Gary Wong from GaryWongRealty.com. I'm the author of the book on Vancouver real estate, and welcome to another episode of Bible, Business, and Belief. Once again, we're here with Vivian, Teng from Miix Interiors, and we're here with our special guest again, Ro Song. Right?
Yes,
Did I say it correctly?
That's his name.
Okay. Today we're going to be talking about biblical leadership versus business leadership. What's the difference?
According to your note, it means that no, but I do think that business leadership it's more of bossing people around. That's what a lot of people comes with when you think about leadership. Like my boss, you hear a lot of people complain about it. And even when I was working at a big corporate, I'm always complaining about my manager, feeling that like this. I feel like in the normal world like that, it's something that you feel like you have a huge gap.
A huge gap.
Or like a huge distance between you and the boss because they are always like telling you what to do.
They feel like they're powerful and bigger than you or something like that. And
then for me, as a owner and as a leader now in my what I'm trying to do is a little bit different. That I guess also depend. Also because all of my staff are kind of like a friend to us. We try to do everything we're more humble, and then we try to do everything do whatever we can, and also do whatever we can do to make them feel like we're working with them, not
co-laboring,
not like they're working for us. Instead of that, we're also part of the team.
So what are some practical things that show that you're working with them versus against, working over them?
A lot of things. The most important, when we're staging a place, we don't just tell them, oh, do this, oh, do that, or okay, now this is your job, and all I do is just sit there and then collect money.
You're flipping the dollars,
but let's set a great example. There are a lot. We have we're a small company, less than 10 people, and then there are a couple of my staff are also Christians, and then it's nice. And then there are that couples that are not, but then at the same time we tell them, we let them know that we are a Christian business, that even though we work things how we're different from, we differentiate ourselves. Whenever we have staff meetings or a staff dinner, we do our prayers, even, and then it's a good way to set example for the people out there, or for our staff, that what kind of lead, to tell them what kind of leader we are, what kind of boss we are. So
more like partner level.
Yeah, I think also because of my age, I'm compared to them, we're almost at the same age. Yeah. Or some of them are even older than me. So I think this is a harder. I am struggling between being a boss or being a good leader, I want to be a good friend to all of them, but at the same time, I need that authority, I need that authority to let them know that I'm in charge, and I need the confidence to let them know that I represent our company and they can trust in me to take care of them.
And you need that authority, but in the secular world, a lot of people get authority using their power, their title.
Yeah.
But biblical leadership is different. It's about leading by example. It's also by co-laboring and partnering with the employees. Yeah. And also in biblical leadership, it's about serving. Yeah. And secular leadership, a lot of it is just telling or bossing people around, right? And I used to work in the corporate world, and people would complain about so-and-so is so bossy and that kind of thing, and they disrespected that person because they're so bossy.
Yeah.
But in biblical leadership, when you serve your employees and serve those who are under you, funny thing happens. They listen to you and they respect you. So you already achieved that authority without, using the secular method.
Yeah, I think so too. Like a lot of time I worry that whether my staff will walk all over my head, like just because they feel like, oh, you don't, I'm not like bossing them around.
Yeah.
But no, I do feel like we have a really good work ethic at my company, that everyone's quite equal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I never feel disrespectful from any of them. Like we're always humbling ourselves to learn. We're open. Our company is very open communication, open for suggestion. Like we welcome all our staff to challenge ourselves. To challenge us if they have a good ideas. Like we welcome them to tell us, and then it's making. I think that's a good way of improving ourselves because there's a reason I'm hiring this person, because I do respect like their perspective in every other ways.
So like in the scripture that comes to mind is John 13, where Jesus washes his disciples' feet.
Yeah.
And she tells them later that as I have done to you, go and do to others.
Yeah.
So that means showing the humility and serving other people. How do you do that in your business?
Like I said earlier, was like I do everything along line with them.
Yeah.
You know, like I never feel like in my business, since it's so small, it's only like less than 10 people. We don't really have seniorities. Like, I mean,
more
there are people
on the
who's more
same level, right?
Yeah,
like,
there are people who are like
to...
more experienced, but then that doesn't make them more powerful. We wouldn't be like, oh, because this she has been with the company for longer than you are, then you should listen to her. But we would use it as another way. It's like, because she knows this a little bit more, so you should follow. And then they take it okay. And then same thing as us. Like we don't really make them feel like, oh, this is like we are more like smarter than you. Like
you don't use your title to oppress them either,
title,
right?
But then like kind of encourage them to learn more, to get trained more, and then it is a fact. Like we're following the fact, not following the seniority. Like I think it's harder in the corporate world. Is that especially when I was working in a like a finance industry, like it's all about titles. Like, there's like title for this, it's like this manager, that manager, it's all different sort of manager, and then it is hard that way. And then I did find myself in a difficult situation when you feel like the managers is just like kind of like using the title to make you do things,
to control
but a
people,
lot of things they don't even know themselves. And then that's when I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people, or even from my friend, like I don't have that kind of experience now, but then like a lot of my friends, when they find it hard to obey, I guess, or like to follow the leader, is when they don't believe in them.
Yeah.
Because they don't believe they can. They believe they can do better than their leader or their manager, and then when that happens, it's harder for them to be submissive or to follow what they want.
And especially if the leader is trying to control them.
Yeah.
And not be humble about it.
Yeah.
Whereas if they ask in a humble manner, most employees are more receptive towards that.
Yeah, so it comes down to the same thing we were talking about before, was the attitude. Like whatever attitude you put in, you can be smart about it, you can be arrogant about it. Like, but maybe it's the same situation, maybe it's the same thing you're telling them to do, but your attitude towards it makes a huge difference. And
then the scripture that comes to mind is in Matthew. It talks about, if you want to be the greatest, you have to be the servant of all. And if you want to be exalted, you must be humbled. And if you want to be humble, like it's basically talking about humble yourself and have others exalt you as opposed to you exalt yourself, right? Yeah. And then I think There's a huge difference in biblical leadership and business leadership. A lot of the successful companies out there with great leadership, they often practice servant leadership without even knowing it comes from the Bible. They know that if they have a more productive team, they will do well in the bottom line. And usually when it comes to having a more productive team, they're more unified. They are often practicing servant leadership, serving one another, growing together. You're only as strong as your weakest link. All those principles are from the Bible. And I highly encourage you to learn more about that. You can always Google biblical leadership. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you write them in the comment section below. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you want us to shoot other videos on other related topics, make sure you put other comments in the comment section below. So until next time, God bless you.